that's called The Outing, and I made that piece in 2010, which was early on in my Shadowscape series, and it was the first time I got into Quilt National. It was really the first time I felt like I had a body of work that is my voice and was clear and crisp. I was teaching a class called Thinking Outside the Box. How do you come up with your own ideas? And I showed them this little tiny photograph, which I had Xeroxed onto overhead transparency film, like in the old days. And you could see it reversed and flipped, so you could see it echoed. And that's what generated that first block. And then once I did that, I was off and tearing. I made 5 quilts in 2010 that were all shadowscapes. By the time I hit making shadowscapes, it was like a no-brainer to play with reflection and symmetry and see how far I could push it. For me, I tend to work very tight. I always do a drawing from a photograph, have it blown up, and then reproduce my drawing. Not everybody can work that way. And I understand it's part of my personality and how I love grids and lines and precision and tight things. And my work tends to be very tight like that. That when I was doing The Outing, I definitely pulled a color way, not knowing that I was going to do these transparent overlays on it. So when the blocks were just coming together, they were literally just stripes of color that were in angles, and then the colored lines of stitching to indicate that it was a paved area of some sort. And that's the magic when you actually put the overlays on and you see it come together. It's like, whoa, this is exciting stuff. And I knew I was really onto a flavor and an idea that I could play with for a long time. Shadows are part of the fight or flight system in our human brains way back, and that it triggers, shadows inform you about volume, size, a lot of things, and it can either trigger the fight or flight response. So there's something very deep in the amygdala that has to do with shadows. And so it's just a passion. I remember the first time I got into Houston with multiple quilts, I used to hang out with my name badge turned backward and just kind of listen to people commenting as they walked by your work and my work. And it's just very fun seeing how people react to something, especially when you do something you feel really good about and other people just react to that.